Hello everyone. Today in this video we will discuss question and answers of two stories about flying, and the first section of this is his first flight. We have read the story of a young seagull who was afraid to fly, and finally he took his first flight after a lot of effort. So let's discuss the question and answers of this chapter. Here on your screen you can see the picture of seagull, right? And the question number 1 is, for how long had the seagull been alone? So the seagull had been alone for 24 hours, right? As his family members, they shifted towards the to the plateau which was in front of his plateau where he was there, where he was he was afraid to fly. So 24 hours, for 24 hours actually he was alone. Question number 2 is, why did the seagull not go with the rest of his family? So the seagull did not go with the rest of his family because he was afraid to fly. Question number 3 is, what were the ways that seagull had thought of to join his family? First question is this in there, and second is, did he try any one of them? So the first answer, that what were the ways the seagull has thought of to join his family. The seagull thought of joining his family without having to fly. He ran from one end of the ledge to the other, and the ledge ended in a steep fall precipice, and he thought of walking up to them, but there was a deep chasm between his and them. So dear students, here you saw two words, one is precipice and second one is chasm. So it means what? It is a cavity, okay, or you may say खाई जिसको हिंदी में कहते हैं. So that is called chasm and precipice, okay, the space between two things. So that is called chasm. Now second question was given to you is, did he try any one of them? So no, he didn't try any one of them. Question number 4 is, did the seagull think the sea was like a land? Pick out the words from the text that suggest this. Yes, the seagull thought the sea was like a land, because when he landed on the sea and his legs sank into it, he screamed and fear and tried to rise again, flapping his wings. This clearly indicates that he thought that sea was like a land, right? तो जब उसने अपनी फर्स्ट फ्लाइट ले ली थी और फाइनली जब वो अपनी फैमिली के साथ सी सरफेस पे लैंड हुआ था, तो उसको शायद ये लगा था कि ये शायद ज़मीन की तरह ही होता और वो ईजिली उस पर खड़ा हो सकता है. When did the seagull's flight begin? Where did it end? Second question is, where did it end? So let's talk about the beginning of the flight of the seagull. So his first flight began when he was falling outwards and downwards into the space. His wings spread outwards. Now he was not falling headlong. He was moving gradually downwards and outwards. Question number 2 was, where did it end? So his first flight ended floating on the sea. Question number 6 is, when did the seagull get over his fear of water? So the seagull thought the sea was like a land. When he landed on the sea, his feet sank into it. He was seized with fear. He was too tired to rise again. His belly touched the water and he sank no further. Now he was floating on the sea, so he had got over his fear of the water, right? So like this you have to answer short answers. Question number 7 is, do you sympathize with the eagle? Give reason. Here flying is a natural instinct of the bird, but the young seagull develops a fright of flight. It happens with us also. We sympathize with him because he has to suffer a lot before he gets over his fear of flying. He has to bear the taunts of his family. He has to go without food for 24 hours. So it is a case of sympathy actually, right? Question number 8 is, how did the seagull express his excitement when he saw his mother bringing food for him? So the seagull was very hungry. When he saw his mother bringing food for him, he was greatly excited. He expressed his excitement by uttering a joyful scream. He leaned out eagerly. He tapped the rock with his feet. He tried to get nearer to her as she flew across, but it was only the part of the plan of her mother. She used this strategy to make her son fly, right? So that's why she didn't give food, she didn't give fish to the young seagull. How did the seagull's parents teach him the art of flying? So birds have a natural instinct to fly. However, some birds, like the young seagull in the story, are afraid to fly. Then their parents teach them how to fly, and the seagull's parents fly about with their children, cavorting and banking and soaring and diving, thus perfecting them in the art of flying. So ये सारी चीज़ें टेक्निक्स उन्होंने यूज़ करी अपने बच्चों को फ्लाइंग सिखाने के लिए. Long type of answers now you have to say. Why did the seagull's father and the mother threaten him and persuade him to fly? How did they do it? Do you think it is a good parenting? Should the parents threaten their words for learning? Yes, of course, right? So the young seagull was scared to fly. He was afraid of the vast exposure of the sea beneath him. His siblings were courageous and had learned to fly. His parents constantly encouraged him to fly, but he was too scared to fly. He was left alone without food. He was desperate with the hunger. He expected his parents to feed him, but it was a threatening from them. He would die of hunger if he did not fly. The mother tempted him with a fish within his reach, but not closer to him. He ultimately fell to the temptation and dived into the sea and finally succeeded. Temptation means उसको यहाँ पे लालच हो गया खाने का और उसने जंप कर दिया. Yes, it was a good parenting. Parents should not pamper their kids by spoon feeding. They should make them independent. They should learn to do their work. Parents' strictness is making a child learn a skill. Should not be taken as a threat. It is necessary and in favor of child. In my opinion, without threat, the seagull would not have learned to fly. He would have starved to death. तो अगर आपके पेरेंट्स आपको कुछ डराते हैं, अगर कुछ कई बार थ्रेटन भी कर देते हैं, so that is for your good only. Okay, don't take that otherwise, because they are preparing a secure future of yours. Question number 2 is, spare the rod and spoil the child. Spare the rod and spoil the child. Do you think the young seagull was not ready to fly due to lenient treatment by his family in the beginning? What made him fly later on? What is the role of the motivation in learning? Dear students, let's first understand the meaning of this phrase given is of this line given here. Spare the rod and spoil the child. It means that if you don't punish a child when they do something wrong, they will not learn what is right and wrong. So it is necessary. ठीक है, डंडे की जोर पे ही सभी काम करते हैं, तो बच्चे भी उसी से सीखते हैं. पर हमेशा ही डांटते रहना, फटकारते रहना, that is not good. But when it is required, it should be. So the answer is saying here, spare the rod and spoil the child. No, I don't agree with this statement. No learning can take place under fear. See, here it can be different views, right? So answer is of not such opinion, where I said that डंडे के जोर पे भी काम चलता है, कई बार प्यार से भी चल जाता है, लेकिन कई बार बहुत ज़्यादा प्यार भी, बहुत ज़्यादा पैम्परिंग भी गड़बड़ कर देती है. ठीक है. So it is the motivation that makes learning easy. The seagull was too scared to fly. It was a new thing for him when he saw the vast sea. The big sea means the big expanse of the sea. He could not take courage and fly. He was too young and was being taken care by his parents. आज से पहले तक उसको उसके पेरेंट्स ही खाना खिला रहे थे, वही उसको टेक केयर, उसकी केयर कर रहे थे. It was natural that his parents were feeding him. It can't be called a lenient treatment. He was no doubt threatened by his parents, but it was just to make him realize how important it was to fly. So it was a question of his survival, and the mother seagull tempted him with the piece of fish. कई बार ऐसा होता है, हमारे आपकी मम्मी भी ऐसा करती है कि प्यारा बच्चा है, ये काम कर दे तो चॉकलेट दूंगी, है ना. तो टेम्पटेशन देने से भी हमेशा काम हो जाता है. ज़रूरी नहीं कि डंडे से ही हो जाए, लेकिन जो काम डंडे से होता है शायद वो डंडे से ही होता है. He fell to the temptation and dived into the vast sea. He was encouraged by his family and he learned the art of flying. Motivation, encouragement and family support help in learning. The rod must be spared, right? So इस केस में let's see question number 3. Fear and lack of confidence stop one from learning new things. Do you agree? How did these two traits of young seagull make him coward? Traits means गुण, ठीक है. And the question is saying if you are afraid of something, so you just lose the confidence to do that work again, and it happens with you people. Suppose you are afraid of any topic in physics, science, chemistry, math, somewhere in any subject, so you do not open the pages where the topics are given, right? You just remain scared of that particular topic, but it will not solve the problem, right? So how you have to overcome with these shortcomings, let's understand with the help of the story of the seagull. So here you can say that yes, it is true that fear and lack of confidence stop us from learning new things. The young seagull lacked the value of courage and confidence in his character. He was the last member in his family to learn the art of flight, so he was too scared to fly. His parents and other siblings encouraged him constantly. When it didn't work, they scolded him for his cowardice also. The mother seagull tricked him and tempted him with a piece of fish. He was kept hungry. His hunger and need for food forced him to dive into the sea. Though he was not willing to learn the art of flying, yet he was tricked by his family. Once he dived, his fear disappeared and he enjoys his first flight. It is fact that unless we try for something and overcome our fear, we can't learn anything. Confidence and motivation are the two important traits that make learning possible. So you should learn a lesson from this story of the seagull. Thank you very much for today. Please do these answers in your notebook and learn for your examination.